Doug, thanks for being here today to talk about your participation in the New York Philharmonic's 2010-11 season. We're very much looking forward to having you back for Cunning Little Vixen in June 2011. Excellent. What are you thinking in terms of kind of the visual world that you want to create for this opera?
Well, I think of the whole thing as a metaphorist. So when you walk into Avery Fisher Hall, I'd love to have this feeling that you're basically walking into the Forest of Arden. You're walking into this magical place, this mindscape, this forest of our imaginations. And so to do that, I'm thinking maybe what we can do is to create, these multiple screens of different shapes. And the question is, there's obviously no orchestra here, or audience, or anything, or even the auditorium. The feeling is more like, how do I start on this? How do I can find a bunch of shapes that seem to be able to be one thing and then another? Then I started applying just a light and color to that feeling. Actually, then I start thinking, well, okay, if I have an orchestra or musicians, maybe these shapes are a little bit less intense, and start to choose shapes that really can be useful for many things. Like a round shape could be, a sun, or a pool, or a well, or a thin shape can be a tree trunk. A rectilinear shape, it can be a window in perspective, and many other things besides. It can be the negative space in between trees, or it can be the trees themselves. So yes, there will be some kind of a multimedia thing, probably mainly with lights and projections, and I'm really hoping to have a number of unusually shaped screens that will hold foliage, that will transform into clouds, that will suddenly become, the interior ceiling of a hut. Shifting scales is something I like to do very much with this. So I'm also really hoping to use the orchestra a little bit more visually, so that they really are the forest. They really are parts of the forest. Lighting underneath their chairs, for example. Maybe decorating their music stands. And what we're aiming for is to have to create an atmosphere which includes all the things that are present in a concert hall, and yet instead of presenting them in a typical concert hall way, you've transformed them and dealt with them and thought about them separately, so that they come back together again in a completely different way in your mind.